Hello and welcome back to Custom Gamer. My name is Daz and this is the show where we talk about level design while playing cool maps. This is part 3 of Ambushville. This map is called Radio Tower Ambush by George Campbell. And it's a very nice looking map. Aside from a few strange omissions, for instance the ceiling here is still clad in dev textures, which is a small oversight. It doesn't really interfere with the visuals on the entire map. It's only this area, if you come up here, that you notice it. It's just a shame that it's there. So in this map you've got a little bit of exploration before you get to the main ambush point. And for an intro to the map, it's actually really nice. You've got this area that we'll come into in just a second here. It's got some nice ambience here, you've got some kind of low hanging fog, and some nice use of ambient sounds with the water. And you get a nice kind of vista showing the radio tower up in the distance. So it's got a strong start to the level. Unfortunately the ambush, I'm not sure if I really want to call it an ambush really, it's just kind of, you get attacked once you get into the arena. It doesn't really feel like an ambush to me. There's no real surprise. The combine just sort of turn up. I think the pacing is a bit off with the actual intro to the ambush here. I think it just lacks shock value, you know. Some other interesting visual detail on the way up here, like you've got these stairs here that are kind of off at an angle at one point. I really like this, it makes things feel very realistic. I like it when things are at odd angles, especially in brush-based games like Half-Life 2, where things can feel very on-grid and orthogonal. It's nice if you can break away from that in as much as possible. I think these steps do a great job. Just simple little things like that, just really cool to see. This part here I didn't really understand, because you've got a door with a padlock which you can break, which allows you to open the door. But it's blocked by another fence after it anyway, so very strange decision there to include that. Not really sure why it's there. Incidentally, the door opens towards you. You really want to avoid that as much as possible. Generally, doors in games, you want to have them open away from the player so it's a lot easier to navigate through them. So this is the main arena. I like that it doesn't just start as soon as you enter this arena. You've got a little chance to explore around a little bit, get used to the layout. It's always nice. It's a very nice looking area too. I like the fact that it's on a gradient going up the hill. It's not just like a flat arena. And suddenly combine. So when I first played through this on my stream, I actually really enjoyed this map. Not quite so fond of it on the second and third time through actually. It's mainly because the issue I found is that if you don't get to the rocket launcher straight away, you end up getting a little bit stuck. Because there's a lack of routes you can take to the rocket launcher. There's basically one way up to the building with the rocket launcher in it. Which is a bit of a problem because you can end up being sandwiched down in the car park between an APC and combined soldiers, and there's literally no way to get out of there if you're low on health. It ends up just becoming a death trap. The map really needed another route to get up to the rocket launcher house. I'll talk more about that when we get there. But for now, let's just snipe some combine because we've got a crazy amount of ammo for the sniper rifle. So there's a lot of combined soldiers that spawn in here. Perhaps maybe too much. So it feels like wherever you are, you're just getting shot at constantly. I mean, there's a lot of kind of visibility blockers and cover you can use in this map, which I really like. Like the houses are very well placed to use as cover like this. But it just feels like this combine on ledges absolutely everywhere. You never really get a break. So here's what I'm talking about. If there was a ladder on this wall behind me, or some other kind of path going up to the house above me, that would have been fantastic, but As you can see here, I just kind of get sandwiched in between combine soldiers and the APC around this corner. You can't really get anywhere. So yeah, really needed another route out of this area. Really needed one right there, where those shrubs are there. Some stairs or something would have been fantastic. Surprised I managed to last this long actually. It's managed to juke the enemies around a little bit, but at the end of the day, one of them picks me off. So let's try that one again. The best strategy is the one I employed on my first playthrough through the map actually. You just run straight for the rocket launcher house and then deal with the enemies from there. So the other thing that's a little bit disappointing with this map is the ending as well. So once the ambush is over and you've killed everything, nothing really happens. And the problem with that is when the ambush is finished, the double doors on the house with the blue roof across the street there opens up and you can go inside and jump out the window at the back, which ends the map. But that's not really signposted very well at all. The doors open and there's combine inside. What I would have really liked to see is some kind of like door breach, like for instance door exploding outwards and then combine running out. Something to grab the player's attention like that, because as it stands at the moment it's a bit of a non-event. You really don't notice it happen. I don't think the doors even make a sound when they open. It's really not signposted very well. And the other issue is that there's a combine force field up near the radio tower. Up there, there's a combine force field. And the first time I played through this map, I figured I'd have to open that force field to progress. It just felt like the natural thing to do. So you can imagine I was very, very confused when I jumped out the window in that blue building and the map ended. It felt very, very premature. Yeah, I would have been happy if I'd just hit a button in that house and it opened the force field and then, you know, the map faded to black as I walked through it. That would have felt like a much more understandable ending. But yeah, the map just seems to peter out. There's also, you can hear hunters running around in the background, kind of around the hills of the arena. On my first playthrough, some of them actually entered the fight and I had to kill them. In the next two attempts I did, they just kind of stayed in the background. I didn't have to deal with them at all, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Perhaps it's some kind of pathfinding issue or some kind of triggering issue that George didn't have time to fix, so who knows. Yeah, it's a little bit odd. It's kind of nice to have them back there, keeps you on edge, you can hear them running around in the trees. But yeah, it's just a little bit confusing that they don't enter the fight all the time. So here's the doors opening, you can see even the sound really isn't that loud. I only really noticed it there because I was looking right at it when they opened. Gotta love the crossbow, it's hilarious death poses. So yeah, here's where I would have liked a button and then the map exit to be over there by the combined force field. I think that would have made a lot more sense. As it stands, you jump out here and the map fades to black. So yeah, a couple of issues. The map looks gorgeous, but the flow just didn't quite work for me. And there was a couple of layout issues with the actual arena, which is unfortunate. Alright, on to the next map. See you next time.